Good afternoon, proletariat! Welcome to Turbo Tuesday. Here at MBT Industries, we are constantly innovating our way to the Yugist revolution. The working duelists of the world can't be led by just anyone, so before we can begin dismantling the oppressive metagame, we need to locate the boss to end all bosses, combing through 20 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! History in the process. As always, we'll give any fledgling leader of the Vanguard party a quick once-over, a chance to prove themselves, and a performance review that will determine if they'll be called back to the next round of interviews, or if they'll need some effect adjustment in our re-education facility. Today's candidate is my most requested ever. No, there's not 1,000 Teaglers beating down the door to my state-appropriated recording closet. There's just one very persistent man with a desire to see Trident broken. Presenting TG Trident Launcher. Before we check out today's corporate stooge, however, a word about our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck, the best online site for database searching, deck building, and strategy articles, all conveniently located at www.ygoprodeck.com. Now, let's take a look at that resume. 2 effect monsters, including a TG tuner. If this card is link summoned, you can special summon 3 TG monsters, one from your hand, one from your deck, and one from your graveyard, in defense position to your zones this card points to. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except TG monsters. You can only use this effective TG Trident Launcher once per turn. Your opponent cannot target TG Synchro monsters this card points to with card effects. What? Why is no one talking about this card? We're all having a collective conniption about a link that summons 1 monster from deck on summon, and this summons 3? Well, if I had to guess, it's probably because you need a TG in hand for it to fire, but with some creative help from our Deep Sea division, we should be able to get there from a single card. Just steer clear of their main monster. She can be a bit of a diva. By using Deep Sea Diva to search for Nept Abyss, then sending Goons for Goons and Deep Sea Minstrel, then Goonsing again for Screw Serpent, we can put the necessary material for Hauk on field and Trident in hand. From there, the sky's the limit, provided of course you're using state-approved TG Synchros to make it to the sky. We'll focus on Halberd for now, but I'd wager you can pivot through any of the TG line of Synchros, which range in power from currently featured in the most broken deck of all time to an insult to the entire Synchronian race. So with that, let's send our leader to the Edo Pro ladder. Our match is up against some sort of 3-axis Cherubini nonsense. Ugh, always disgusting to see a competent Master Rule 3 deck splashing broken link monsters just to make plays. Anyway, this hand is a little convoluted, but does get the job done. We're going to lead with a copy of Deep Sea Minstrel, sending a copy of Dragoons to the graveyard and triggering its effect to add a copy of Diva to hand. Afterwards, we'll normal summon a copy of Diva and use its effect to special summon a copy of Nept Abyss from deck. From there, we can activate Nept Abyss's effect, sending a Goons to add a Goons to hand, then triggering the effect of Goons in the graveyard in order to get a Screw Serpent, I suppose, just to show off the combo. We'll go into a Halka-Fibrax and special summon a copy of Tank Rub from deck, and go into a Trident Launcher, summoning from deck a copy of Drillfish, from hand a copy of Screw Serpent, and from graveyard a copy of Tank Rub. Next, we're going to go into Star Guardian, activate its first effect to get Screw Serpent, and second to special summon it. Next, we'll activate the effect of Screw Serpent to bring back Drillfish, and summon a copy of Recipro Dragonfly. We'll get a token for our trouble, and then summon a copy of TG Hyper Librarian, an expansion, and then Dragonfly's effect to send the expansion to the graveyard to bring back Hyperlib and Guardian, ending on a TG Halberd Cannon. We're going to take that copy of Parallel Exceed from our opponent's hand, after which they draw a second one. They'll set 3 and... wow, I don't actually have a way to close out the game. I didn't think I'd get this far. We'll attack over this copy of Farfa. They will Phantom Knight Sword it in damage step, so we have to spend our entire turn getting it off the field, but no big deal. We should be able to clean up next turn. They draw for turn... oh, that's really bad. Okay, we'll negate the Ancient Cloak summon. They can bring it back with this Phantom Knight Sword in the graveyard, and Cherubini and Parallel Exceed have made it to the field. This is quite bad. Okay, they'll go into a Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, then trigger its effect, not very threatening, before rumming. Oh my god, are we dead? They're going to Cherubini, and here come the new Phantom Knights. They'll add a copy of Fogblade to hand before activating the effect of Tier Scale, and then activating Fogblade's effect in graveyard so they can overlay for a copy of Leviair, triggering its effect to bring back this copy of Ancient Cloak, activating Ancient Cloak's effect, activating the effect of Arc Rebellion, and... okay. Well, we're back, and if nothing else, that was unexpected. So how did TG Trident Launcher perform? Well, let's consult our super scientific metrics above. I'm giving this Deep Sea Dingus a 3 in terms of consistency. Sure, this list only has 1 Hauk starter, but given the T's and the G's we're playing, we could easily shove in a righty and a lefty, Deskbots, and even... Jet Synchron. I'm giving this lascivious launcher a 2 in terms of investment. Yes, it probably needs a dedicated deck, just because the link is so xenophobic, but theoretically it only needs a couple of garnets to enable the whole play. I'm giving King Neptune's Trident a 2 in terms of payoff. Yes, Halberd is a boss monster whose time has come and gone, but that doesn't mean it isn't potent, especially when it requires so little setup. What's more, the combos are fungible, so if you like, you can do a pretty good impression of Synchro Eldritch. That said, my final verdict is a second interview for Hauka Fibrax's dad. Jillian, call up Chibi Gohan.